They purposely screw with our language, people. They get us off guard, and then they take advantage of us by changing our terms, what words mean. If I have to listen to or read about one more bombshell revelation, CBS News drops a bombshell. You ever heard that one before? Yeah. Look at, there are bombs, people, and there are shells. Now you can fly over somebody and drop a bomb on them, or you can lay down an artillery barrage and shell the hell out of them. Got it? But there ain't no bombshells. All right, now that's how we're going to start this off today. Having said that, people, I'm going to drop a bombshell on your asses because I am not the bad news broadcast. No, I'm not that. GeoEngineeringWatch.org has that sewed up, as you found out from yesterday and other podcasts of mine. But I'm the not good news broadcast. How about that one? Podcast. All right, here we go. I've taught you before a number of times. Culling the herd. I mean ranchers. Chicken raisers. Egg producers. Isn't it only good business to cull the herd from time to time of the non-productive? Ranchers, you got open cattle, you can't reproduce. What do? You send them to market. Tomorrow's hamburger. Hobby farmers, egg manufacturers, egg producers. You got chickens that don't lay eggs anymore. What do? Sunday's chicken noodle or chicken dumpling dinner. You got it? Do you think it's any different for people who no longer produce? The useless eaters, yeah, usually too young that can't produce yet consume, and too old that ceased producing and still consume. Think about it as a business, people. You're running the big plantation. You just can't have a bunch of slaves laying around consuming more than they produce. Just makes good sense, does it not? Okay, so if you guys follow me on my Gab timeline, I was on Gab, too much of the time yesterday, and I had a little discovery. Here's the bombshell, people. Yeah, Trump, the Donald, has been getting a lot of coverage with his newfound Christianity. He's been out there really beating the bushes, talking about Jesus, talking about the resurrection, and hoping you all have a blessed holy day. So I go, well, wait a minute now. This is the same Donald that I know? Well, I did some research on people. The Donald wrote a book. It's called The Way to the Top. And on page 188, let me just give you a quote. One day, when my Kabbalah teacher, Eitan Yardini, asked, how was I doing? Imagine that, people. What's a good Christian, a newfound born-again Christian like the Donald, doing with a rabbi teaching him the Kabbalah? I can't tell you much more of what I put on that post because this is not Gab. But if you're not on Gab, I don't know why you're not, because you'd have had an eye-opener. It was a bombshell, no doubt about it. It is Monday, the 18th of April, 2022. You know I'm going to have stuff to do today. You just know it because it's laying all over my porch. It's all the way out to my dog pens. Yeah, there's a snow shovel with my name on it. I could just scream, this is such bullshit. And no, I'm not going to blame Mother Nature for this last week of pure weather nonsense. Okay, so what a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive. You ever heard that one? I was too lazy to look up who said it, but I'm sure it was somebody famous. Guess who's back in the news? Well, he has never not in the news. Our good friend, James Bond villain extraordinaire. Yep, that's Herr Klaus Schwab. And his right-hand man, Yuval Noah Harari. I don't think you've heard this one before, but Harari is a lead advisor to Herr Klaus Schwab. Give you credit there, Steve. The ultimate James Bond villain. All right, pay attention, people. I'll try to break this up a little bit for you with some commentary, news you can use. Here we go.
If you take genetic editing, just as an example, it's you who are changed, and of course this has a big impact on your identity.
We need to realize that humans are now hackable animals. You can hack them. We have all this still myth of free will, that everything we choose is of our own free will. And this is a myth that served us well for a couple of centuries, But now it's becoming dangerous. I mean, all this story about Jesus rising from the dead and being the Son of God, this is fake news.
Wait, that's not true?
Whoa. All this stuff about Jesus raising from the dead, that's fake news? Well, come on, people. Harari is an Israeli, and what did we say on a previous podcast? That Israeli historian told you. They're basically all atheists. Hell no, God doesn't exist. You know, I'd have loved to have been in that crowd when he was giving his presentation and said, excuse me, Mr. Harari, do you believe in God? Hell no. Do you believe God gave you and your people Palestine? Goddamn right he did. The hypocrisy. It's incredible. Here we go.
And now if you give the tools to start changing or overcoming biology, just, think about sex life.
First of all, what tools is he talking about? Oh, well, I'll give you a little clue. mRNA, DNA, gene splicing, gene auditing, gene mapping. Oh, yeah, think about it. Think about the last 2 years. Think about what might be in the water. Think about what might have got into the veins. The technology is already out there, and it's in some of us now.
Almost every religion and every ideology wanted to really change human sexuality or limit it, but they couldn't.
By the way, these guys are always talking about sex. They just love their sex. Tel Aviv.
You had vows of chastity in the church, and how many people actually lived up to their vows of chastity? Now think, if you can really start messing with human biology, what will be the result of these sexual fantasies of different religions and ideologies? A good two-way communication system, direct communication system between brains and computers, this is kind of the watershed moment. I mean, once you have a good two-way, nobody has any idea what happens after that. Maybe in a couple of decades when people look back, the thing they will remember from the COVID crisis is this is the moment when everything went digital, and this was the moment when everything became monitored, that we agreed to be surveyed all the time, not just in authoritarian regimes, but even in democracies. And maybe most importantly at all, this was the moment when surveillance started going under the skin. I think that the big process that's happening right now in the world is hacking human beings.
The surveillance has gone under the skin. Well, didn't we talk about nano everything, people? Nanobots, nanotech, smart dust.
Ability to hack humans, to understand deeply what's happening within you, what makes you go. And for that, the most important data is not what you read and who you meet and what you buy, it's what's happening inside your body. So we had these two big revolutions, the computer science revolution, or the infotech revolution, and the revolution in the biological sciences. And they are still separate, but they are about to merge.
History is truly at a turning point. We do not yet know the full extent and the systemic and structural changes which will happen. However, we do know that global energy systems, food systems and supply chains will be deeply affected. The fourth industrial revolution is actually changing ourselves. It's changing not only what we are doing, it's changing who we are.
The biggest question maybe in economics and politics.
Pay attention to the biggest question, people. This one ends right after this.
Of the coming decades will be what to do with all these useless people.
What to do with all these useless people? Did you hear it for yourself? You can't make this stuff up. No. Yuval Noah Harari, right-hand man to Herr Klaus Schwab, the James Bond ultimate villain. Yeah, no doubt about it. So let's talk about a little bit of, you know what you guys do with useless eaters, cattle, open cattle, chickens that don't lay eggs anymore. Yeah. Well, what's the big question for them? What to do with useless eaters? Okay, so let me get over here. Supply line interruption, people, or supply line destruction? We talked about this, a couple of weeks ago. Railroads, the big three, we're not going to haul bulk loads. We're going for premium loads. No more hauling your grain around. Here we go. Check this out. New developments.
About 10 days ago, I did a very important story about how the rail carriers in the United States had declared force majeure.
Okay, force majeure. It's just simply a legal term for I don't have to honor my contract with you because of acts of God. It's out of my hands. Acts of God, don't you know? You know, it's funny how these hypocritical atheists, and most of these lawyers are atheists, they will tell you they're atheist unless it benefits them to say, well, acts of God, it's out of our hands.
And we're halting deliveries of grain to dairy herds and other cattle and animal feed operations around the country. Now, we have another confirmation, but something much bigger. A company called CF Industries. This is the largest fertilizer manufacturer in North America, one of the largest in the world. CF Industries, which has major operations in Louisiana and also, I believe, Iowa, and they have been told by Union Pacific Railroad essentially the same thing. A force majeure declaration where the railroad says they will not carry fertilizer shipments anymore. Or technically, what they're being told is that they can't add any orders and that their private rail cars will no longer be carried by the railroad, but there will be some fulfillment of some existing orders which are probably en route already, but after that is done. Not going to be fertilizer shipped by rail by Union Pacific Railroad. And this is going to affect farms in Iowa, Illinois, Kansas, Nebraska, Texas, and even California. And it does not only affect fertilizer, which of course is critical right now for the spring planting season for farmers, but it also affects diesel exhaust fluid, DEF, which is made out of urea. So it's kind of the same chemical pathway as urea ammonium nitrate. And of course you have to have ammonia in order to do that. And ammonia is what's made from natural gas combined with nitrogen from the atmosphere. So, and that's NH3. Anyway, diesel exhaust fluid is going to be in short supply now, as well as fertilizer. So there was a major announcement just a few days ago from CF Industries. This is on their website. And here it is, quote, Union Pacific curtails fertilizer shipments, delaying deliveries and preventing new rail orders from being taken. And the announcement goes on to say that this would, quote, result in nitrogen fertilizer shipment delays during the spring application season, and that Union Pacific be unable to accept new rail sales involving Union Pacific for the foreseeable future. In other words, forget about it. You're not going to be able to use the railroads to deliver this probably ever. And then the following sentence is rather shocking. Quote, the company, meaning CF Industries, the company understands that it is one of only 30 companies to face these restrictions. So what is happening here, folks? I'm going to read you more from this announcement and give you more analysis. What's happening is that the White House is ordering the railroads to drop deliveries of anything related to grains or fertilizer in order to collapse the food supply. So this is the acceleration. This is the next stage that we were warning about roughly 10 days ago or so. So this is affecting the Donaldsville complex in Louisiana, that's part of CF Industries, as well as the Port Neal complex in Iowa.
Now, why would our government do that to us, huh? I don't believe that. See, that's why it's a conspiracy, because our government cares about us. We just need Donald Trump back because he's one of us, and he'll take care of it. Get that imposter out of the White House. Put Trump back in. Yeah, Trump 2024. You don't get it, do you, people? They tell you they're culling the herd, and they're all in on it. The Donald is, was, and will be in on it. Hate to break it to you. I told you I was going to drop a bombshell on you. Now, the second question most people come up with is, Well, just screw the railroad. Why don't they use trucks? Why don't they use trucks, people? Well, you really need someone to tell you why they don't use trucks. First of all, diesel exhaust fluid. All the modern trucking, construction, agricultural equipment requires it. You don't get too many RPMs if you don't have it filled up. Hey, you don't use trucks to haul grain from mine in North Dakota to Los Angeles. You don't use trucks to haul coal from Montana to North Dakota to the power plants. You don't have 110 car truck convoys. It's not efficient. It ain't gonna work. You don't need to be told this, people. Now, finally, to wrap up the bombshell podcast of today. Oh, see, I'm getting a little long. For those who care, send me an email, and I will send you a link. I'm up here on the wall yesterday, looking out over the horizon, and a bunch of paper blows up on me. Yep, in fact, about 114 sheets of paper blow up to me. And what's it called, people? Yes, it is actually. It's a PDF file of 114 pages. From NASA, never a straight answer. Need another 7 astronauts, and not a space administration. A July 2001 document. July 2001. Let's see, that was just shortly before. Oh yeah, September 11th, 2001. Here we go. The Future Strategic Issue, Future Warfare, circa 2025. Well, son of a bitch, that's only 3 years away. And this was done 21 years ago. Oh, they're always planning, people. Always plotting against us. They do want us dead. Useless eaters, don't you know? So here we go, cover page, capabilities of the enemy after next, quote unquote. Who could their enemy be? Well, I think it's us. Ongoing worldwide technological revolutions. Yeah, don't confuse when they say AI. Harari, he loves to talk about AI. Nope, it's DI, demonic intelligence. You've got to get that in your brain box. Economic trends, potential nature of farther term warfare. I'm just going to shoot down. Oh, page 2. The bots, the Borgs, and the humans welcome you to 2025 AD. What did Herr Schwab say? They're going to change you. Yeah, they're going to make you a new creation. It didn't work for the powers to be, what happened in Genesis. Now, we're going to have to redo it. We're going to do it right. And not to bore you much further, I'm going down to page 8 here real quickly. And here we go. Well, goddamn it. Spaceship Earth, quote unquote. The crew are, get what this crew is up to on Spaceship Earth. They're plundering the ship supplies. Oh, them useless eaters. They're tinkering with the temperature and life support controls. They are still looking for the instruction manual. They are engaging in bloody skirmishes in every corner of the vessel. And, here's the worst part, increasing the size of the crew by 2 million per week. Yep, useless people, useless eaters. So I'm not going to even try to link this damn thing. If you want a link, Outpost, one word, OUTPOST, at midco, midco.net. And I'd be happy to ship it off to you. Alright, people. Yeah, there's a snow shovel out there with my name on it. It is about 20 minutes to 3. I got stuff to do.